How to be a good manager. Having spent some time working in the corporate environment, both as a manager and being managed, I find that different managers adopt different ways or styles in trying to motivate their team and sometimes motivate themselves. Some do very well with this, while some never really get the hang of it. Allow me to share with you some of the worst ways of trying to motivate your employees or members of your team. 1. Recognition. Whilst recognition is a great tool to encourage people, it does come with a significant disadvantage if this tool is misused. I like to strongly highlight the word misuse before explaining further. Now here is how recognition can be misused. 1. The empty drum syndrome. Knowing it is difficult to recognize everybody, someone has got to be the runner-up and someone has got to be the one being recognized each month. This creates a problem because sometimes the people who sing management praise the loudest are the ones being recognized, whilst the people who are actually doing the work behind the scene are not recognized. There is an old African proverb that says, "It is the empty drum that makes the loudest noise." When management falls into the empty drum syndrome trap, it makes the people who are actually doing the work behind the scene take their foot off the gas and do just the minimum in order to prove their importance. 2. The unspoken message of recognition. From a management point of view, we must keep in mind that every time we recognize one person, we are indirectly saying to the other members of our team and the rest of our employees that in our opinion, this individual or group have done the most value-add job, which implies that the rest have not. I have seen management come up with some of the loveliest speech saying, in quotes, "This is not to say that you have not done a great job, however," but let me remind you, action speaks louder than words. So the action of recognizing this individual or group speaks louder than that lovely speech you've just given. That you can't see the importance of the work that others are doing does not mean you should undermine their importance by recognizing an individual in front of them. If you do have to recognize a person or a group of people, you may want to consider doing that in private. After all, recognition is to motivate them. It's a motivational tool to make them do better. Let me use a short story to explain this better. A few years ago, my car broke down and I had to take my car into the garage for the engine to be changed. And I was quoted about £8,000 by the garage for the engine to be changed. It was expensive, but in my mind I told myself that the engine was the most valuable part of the car, so it was worth it. So I went on to change the engine. After changing the engine, we realized the car was still not drivable. And the guys from the garage spent days looking for the problem, trying to find what the problem was. And after a few days of checking, they realized it was a burnt fuse problem. A fuse that cost just £25. Although the engine was the most expensive part of the car, but the engine could not achieve its purpose or goal without the cheap little fuse. A company is like a car. Just like the car needs every part to function properly, so does a company needs every members of each team to function properly for it to achieve its goals. So while you're busy recognizing the project delivery team for delivering a £10 million project, you must remember it was the HRO headhunt team that put together this project delivery team that delivered the £10 million. And it was the compliance team that kept these guys in check. So the big question then is, are you still recognizing the right person? Do you think it is wise to openly recognize this person or this group of people who only saw the project through the finish line but never started the project?